The emergency klaxons pierced through the hull of the Celestial Dawn as Captain Zexthor frantically worked the controls of his escape pod. Behind him, his crew of mixed alien species scrambled in terror, their various limbs and appendages moving in chaotic desperation. The ship was dying, life support failing, and they were stranded in the middle of nowhere with no hope of rescue. "The humans?" gasped Lieutenant Krill, her blue-scaled face pale with shock. "Look at the humans." Through the viewport, the Vorthan captain could see the human survivors on the planet's surface below. The Celestial Dawn had crashed 3 days ago on this barren world, a place that registered as uninhabitable on every scanner they possessed. No water, no food sources, temperatures that swung from scorching heat to freezing cold, and an atmosphere so thin that most species would suffocate within minutes. They had all assumed it was a death sentence. But now, watching through their long-range scopes, Zexthor witnessed something that chilled him to his core. The humans weren't lying down to die. They weren't conserving energy or rationing supplies like every other rational species would do. They were running. "By the void," whispered Chief Engineer Thok, his massive frame trembling. "They're still running." It had started on the first day. While the other survivors had established a makeshift camp near the wreckage, trying to jury-rig communication devices and shelter, the humans had done something unprecedented. They had started jogging. Not walking, not hiking, jogging as if they were back on their homeworld taking a casual morning exercise. "Impossible," muttered Dr. Elon, the ship's Zarathi medic. "The atmospheric pressure alone should have collapsed their lungs. The temperature differential should have killed them through thermal shock. They're operating on a fraction of the oxygen they need." But there they were, a group of 12 humans moving in what they called a formation. They had fashioned crude breathing apparatus from debris, wrapped themselves in salvaged thermal blankets, and were systematically exploring the planet's surface. They moved in a steady, rhythmic pace that seemed to never falter. Captain Zexthor had seen many species in his decades of space travel. He had witnessed the lightning-fast reflexes of the Quillian hunters, the raw strength of Vorthan warriors, the incredible endurance of the crystalline Neth. But nothing had prepared him for this. "Sir," Communications Officer Vex reported, her voice shaking, "I'm picking up their radio chatter." The captain activated the speakers and the bridge filled with human voices. They were calm, methodical, almost cheerful. "2 clicks northeast, Johnson. See that ridge line? Looks like mineral deposits. Copy that, Martinez. Heart rate's holding steady at 140. You good for another hour?" "Roger. Found some ice formations at grid 77. Might be worth checking for subsurface water." Dr. Elon's tentacles writhed in distress. "They're talking about heart rates and grids like this is routine. Don't they understand they're dying?" But as the hours passed, it became clear that the humans weren't dying. They were thriving. Somehow, their relentless movement was keeping them alive where others would have perished. They were covering enormous distances, mapping the planet, finding resources that the ship's sensors had missed. Update from the surface came another human voice. "We've located a cave system about 15 clicks south. Natural wind protection, and there's definitely water down there. Temperature's more stable too." Zexthor watched in growing horror as the humans established waypoints, created supply caches, and systematically conquered a world that should have been unconquerable. They weren't just surviving, they were taking over. Captain Krill's voice was barely a whisper. "I've been analyzing their movement patterns. They're not just running randomly. They're persistence hunting." Persistence hunting? Zexthor had never heard the term. It's an ancient Earth technique. They run their prey to exhaustion, never stopping, never giving up. Except, she paused, her scales turning an even paler shade of blue. They're not hunting animals. The realization hit the bridge like a physical blow. The humans weren't just exploring the planet. They were claiming it. Every step, every systematic sweep of the terrain, every methodical catalog of resources. They were turning a desolate death world into their new home through sheer, terrifying persistence. As the captain watched the humans disappear over another horizon, still running, still exploring, still refusing to quit, he finally understood why the galaxy had been so eager to welcome humanity into the galactic community. It wasn't friendship they had wanted. It was to keep them on their side.